I believe that abstract is being different, having meaning without pictures and words. I'm very private, so I like to express myself through colors, of course, in my art. Colors speak 1,000 words, just like, they say a picture does. I don't sketch out anything, but I'll always like to start off with just a color that may describe my mood or describe something that I've seen. I just kind of go from there. It's just like a building thing. If my painting was a recipe, I would add colors that just symbolize different things that may give them positive energy. A lot of the colors come from like my past travels. So I just kind of take little bits and pieces of things I've been through or I've experienced in life, and I kind of incorporate them into my art. I started off in the kitchen, like a lot of people starting off in the garage or at home. Over time, I had to get another space, a bigger space, and a place where I can actually create. Creating clothing and painting was like my first job. My mother, she could afford certain things, but not everything I wanted, so a lot of things I created myself. So I started to create t-shirts, pants, stuff like that, but I would just kind of put paint to them in an abstract way, like a drip process, taping, using things that was around the house, just improvising mostly. And it kind of started and it just kind of created a wildfire. I eventually got it into the mall in Del Amo. After high school, I went to the Coast Guard because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. It sounded like the best plan for me at the time, so I just made the decision to go and try to start my life off that way. I was able to be around a lot of different people that I've never been around from different states and different countries and stuff like that, so it was definitely a great thing. I had a stomach surgery that actually stemmed from a vacation that I had. They basically told me I had a hole in my stomach that was there previous that basically could have killed me because my fluids were coming out of my stomach into my actual system. I was 27 when I had my stomach surgery. I spent 7 days in the hospital. Actually, it was the same building that I was born in. It was like a rebirth in a way. The day before I got out the hospital, Warren Brand is a curator in Los Angeles. He said that he wants to have a meeting with me, which I didn't understand at the time because I wasn't painting for 10 years. He just felt like I should get back to painting. The next day I went to Michael's and I loaded up the basket with all kind of paint supplies. After my life-changing stomach surgery, I found a book in my mother's garage. It was called Pyramids. This book gave me the first push to what I wanted to paint. I started painting pyramids first. The pyramid just went right back to its base, which is the triangle, and that's very abstract. And you can use a triangle to make even more triangles that's more abstract than just a regular pyramid. My paintings are just like pyramids. You just start from the bottom and build your way up. I did a piece for my cousin. He was 22 and he passed away from cancer. That was probably like the hardest thing for me because he was so young, so positive while going through his whole process. And it's things like that makes you want to put things on a canvas and explain those certain things through art. I paint on various materials and objects. I started on canvas, so I have way more canvas work than anything. Wood, I would say, is my favorite because it kind of comes with a texture already. It always looks very clean on wood. People think that tape is just, it just works magic and just makes things just totally straight, but that's not how it works. When you put paint on tape, it changes the integrity of the tape. You just have to know what tape is, what it does, and how to use it various ways and on various objects and materials. It would be kind of foolish for me to think that I wouldn't have anything wrong while I was painting, because nothing is perfect. Those are just times to improvise. It's just a time for me to create something else from something that I didn't even think was gonna happen. Making sure things are neat and straight and stuff like that all come from my military background. I was a barber during and before the Coast Guard. It actually correlates to my art because I have to have a steady hand when doing different paint techniques. I use rulers every now and then. I don't want to tell people I don't use rulers at all. To do things like that, you have to always practice. My first year of painting, 2013 to 2014, that's all I did every day was just practice. It's repetition, it's a lot of man hours, a lot of just putting in work and trying to perfect your craft. The first piece of art that I sold was kind of like the room stopped in a sense. And it gave me a lot of confidence too, that like what I was doing was actually working. When somebody buys a piece of my art, it's a kind of out of the world experience because you've created something from nothing. And somebody has such a connection to it that they have to have it. It's a piece of Rob Hill inside of their house. That's pretty big to me. I'm from Harbor City, California, born and raised. It's a very small city in the South Bay area. I love the fact that I can do something and bring something back to my city. One thing I want my art to say is diversity. Unity through diversity. I just want people to understand that's what those colors and that's what those shapes are. Those are like people. We all different shapes and sizes, all different colors, and we can all live together and do things together within one place with no issues, actually look good together. Art is a very personal thing. That's your name, that's your work, so anything that you do is gonna line up with your art. Representation is just something that everybody should focus in on. Your name is everything, so you have to be represented the right way. And who better to represent it than yourself? My name is Rob Hill, and I'm a geometric abstract artist.